even without a crisis such as COVID, it's already difficult. It already taxes leaders on how to continuously motivate the workforce. Put there the factor of we have different generations to already handle or deal with in the workforce, may have their own needs at work that we need to satisfy. I also placed here on this slide different words or synonyms of motivation. I will not go through a thorough technical or scientific definition anymore. We used motivation. We use the word motivate on a daily basis with our teams and peers. For me, motivation is nothing else than a force inside each one of us. It's a force. It's an internal force. So, frankly speaking, nobody else can really motivate you if you do not do your own push. But from a leader standpoint, the question is, how can we appeal to this force? What can we do to structure the work environment? How can we adjust our leader behavior so that we're able to stimulate this force that might be sleeping? We need to awaken or unleash this force that might just be waiting for its right moment inside the hearts of our employees. I also gave 5 more words there. We used the word passion that could equate to motivation. When you say, I'm passionate in doing something, you know that that person doesn't need any external push to do something. It also comes by a very powerful verb, drive. A person who's motivated will have that drive, less external push. It also stands for willingness or will. Those of you who are well versed in situation leadership theory know that we talk about 2 things, will and skill. So in that blue box down there, when we speak of motivation, we're no longer referring to the person's skill or ability. It's something else. People may be able to do something, but are they willing to do it? Then, in the past decade, we've heard of a technical term called engagement. And most companies, if not all, are already measuring the engagement levels of their employees through recurring scientific surveys. The beautiful definition of engagement is it stands for the discretionary effort of employees. Breaking that down into discretionary effort, it's now dependent on the employee's discretion. It's his choice whether to go extra mile or to exert an extra hour to finish something or to stay behind and prepare to-do lists for the day or the following day or for the following week. And I just mentioned the second word in the definition of engagement, effort. People who exert a lot of effort, we would say they're highly motivated. Consider this slide as a crash course of basic motivation science. Now, reflecting on what happened to my team and also speaking to some leaders who have been somehow struggling in this time of crisis, I just want to simplify what we mean by the word motivation. I'd like to start by saying that motivation is simply, at this point of the work from home setup, still showing up on time. And before COVID, people's attendance records, their punctuality records is actually a good measure of attendance, of motivation. As we say, attendance and the lack of it and tardiness in whatever events or meetings can be a sign of withdrawal behavior, that people are trying to avoid something, and that something that they're trying to avoid can be something that impacts on their level of security or their sense of confidence. So number one for me is my teammate motivated. That person shows up on that time in every calls, is there ready to deliver value. Second is keeping up with the pace and keeping up with the focus, because we don't see each other, and yet there could be quite some downtime that our teammates are experiencing. More special projects are given to those companies or teams with challenges in the demand of their products. We try to repurpose people for several roles. We give them more tasks outside maybe of the job description. So it's important that with all of the craziness in the whirlwind going on, people can still keep up with the pace. And at the same time, with the distractions around, be able to keep the focus. What are the top goals and priorities of my company during this time of COVID? And the last meaning that I'd like to share, I'd like to say that my teammate is motivated because during these times of COVID, changes will happen. In LJMB alone, no need for face-to-face seminars because of the lockdown. So we have to innovate. And this is such an innovation that we started 3 weeks ago. And our business model as a company will also follow. I'm sure that you may have small or big major changes in your organizations. You may have had them already in the first 3-4 weeks in the lockdown. And how will people step up, maybe assume other responsibilities and roles in this time of crisis is a show of motivation. And I know that for some companies, especially in the BPO space, we have several participants who are coming from BPO companies. It's a step up for some employees to really be able to bring home equipment or to send equipment to employees, hundreds of them deployed in different areas. It can also be a step up, as I heard in other companies, that their backroom or support departments, such as I mentioned, finance, procurement, and other support departments, are now handling operations roles, not knowing how to lead teams, but now in charge of 10 people. So let me be clear, in these times of COVID, motivated for me, you're there, you show up when you're needed, you keep up with to the best of your ability with the craziness that's happening, and you step up whatever roles and opportunities are given to you. Here are some truths, basic truths about motivation. Quickly going through them. People are different. Some need extrinsic motivation. Let's acknowledge that. People work to be able to put food on the table. But for some people, while salaries are really just for satisfying basic needs, it's the intrinsic motivators of fulfillment, of challenge that makes them go. As I would put in another phrase here, some need cash, some need camaraderie or a sense of belongingness. Some would need more of the congratulations. No? Okay, thank you for the additional increase, but what I'd like to have is a recognition of my talents in this company. And also, you might be passionate with one task, but not with another. This now brings us to 3 tips for leaders. My first tip for you is to still be able to appeal to intrinsic, let me correct the word that's there, it's intrinsic motivation. We'll correct the e-handout that will send to you. During these times when money, financials will not be within our control, some of you might be business owners or CEOs of your companies. Some of you are middle managers. You don't have control. You can't promise additional financial assistance. Let's try to shift the motivation of our people to intrinsic motivation. I'll talk more about that. Tip number 2 is for you to continue to profile your teammates. Are they best motivated by cash? Are they best motivated by camaraderie or feeling of belongingness? That means the connections are important to them, and we need to provide some sense of connection despite the distance among our teammates. And based on the reality that people might be passionate on one task and not with another, I'll say, please avoid the label or the use of the word, this person is demotivated, because that's entirely inaccurate. When you say that a person is demotivated, what you actually mean is this person is demotivated to do a certain task or a particular task. But if you, let's say, assign this person to a new project, or let's say you explain the task in a more specific manner, explaining the why and why is he assigned to do that, it might change his level of willingness and effort.